Well, greetings, my beloved clients and friends. I know it's been a while since we did a video. Markets have been very choppy and turbulent, and um, I haven't had enough clarity to say anything with conviction. Uh, so that's why we haven't had much videos lately. But we're starting to get some clarity, so you'll see the videos coming out and some conviction, and we're making some moves, and it's working out so far. For much of 2025, we were kind of lagging the market, which I don't. We were lagging the market, which I don't like, and so we've made some changes, and we're back ahead of the market again. So I feel good about that, about the changes we made, and I'll be sharing with you some of those changes that we have made and that we will be making. And so one of them is that we have started adding to the portfolio a company called GameStop, which should be familiar to many of you. And it's a company that we're familiar with as well. We've owned it twice before. Back in 2015, we owned it. And then again in 2020, we owned it. We bought it. And we made money both times. The second time, beyond our wildest dreams, actually. I mean, we bought it, I think, in November of 2020. October, November, right around there, for about $10 a share. And within a few months, we sold some at 100. A short period later, we sold some more at 250. And then we exited that position completely at $400 a share, 40x, which was phenomenal, amazing. And then it came way down, and we thought it still had legs, so we started buying it again. Like, we bought some more at 90, some at 60, and then we sold that at 300. So we had two turns in that window, that 2020 2021 window. So we're very familiar with the company. We were never expecting that kind of return on that second time. We were figuring, maybe we'll get a 5x on this thing. We were excited about to get a 5x. We were getting 40. So anyway, why did we buy it again? Well, a handful of reasons, and I'll just go through those with you. So one, we saw the insiders buying. The executives, including Ryan Cohen, who's the CEO, he put another big chunk into that stock recently. And so that's a good sign. And then Michael Burry also took a big position in that position. He's a guy that was famous for calling the 2008 global financial crisis and profiting from it. And he was portrayed in that movie, The Big Short. And that time in 2020, he had bought GameStop as well. And so he bought it again. And I mean, we don't follow his recommendations blindly, but we agree with his thesis of why he's buying it this time. And I'll share that with you in a little bit. And so the third reason is they've been profitable the last 4 quarters, which when Ryan Cohen took them over, they were losing money. And for the first few years that he was running it, they were losing money. But last 4 quarters, they've been profitable. And then probably most significantly is that recently Ryan Cohen took about $10 billion out of GameStop. Not from his own personal use, but he raised cash by issuing stock and issuing debt. And what excites me is what he plans to do with that stock. That cash. Okay, so who is Ryan Cohen? First of all, we'll start there. He is a young guy, maybe 40, and he had been the founder of a company called Chewy, which makes pet products, like an online pet supplier for pet meds and pet food and anything related to pets. And he did a great job with that company. He was a darling of Wall Street for how he ran that company, and then he sold it. He sold that company for a huge profit, I think maybe Maybe he became a billionaire when he did that. And one of the things he did with that cash hoard from the sale of Chewy was to start buying up shares of GameStop. And he acquired like a 10% position in GameStop, and then he wrote a letter to the board of GameStop telling him that he didn't like what they were doing, and he said these are the changes that you need to make. And they responded to him, and they offered him a board seat, and he didn't take it. So they offered him 2. He didn't take it. They offered him 3 board seats, and he took it. He took the 3 board seats. He put himself and 2 of his guys on the board, and they started cleaning house. They got rid of a couple other board seats, and eventually he became the chairman of the board, and then later the CEO. So he's been running GameStop for the last few years. And when he took it over, it was losing money. And the first few years that he was running, it was losing money. But recently, like I said, in the last 4 quarters, it's been profitable. Okay, and so he took that opportunity and he pulled this cash out. So we like Ryan Cohen, and he is a student of Warren Buffett, like I am. And so what Warren Buffett did, his career, he started managing money right out of college, like in the early 50s. He was in his early 20s. And he would buy stocks, and he would buy whole companies as well for his investors. And one of the companies that he bought was a company called Berkshire Hathaway. He liked companies that looked beat up, that were cheap, but maybe were generating some cash. And Berkshire Hathaway fit that. Berkshire Hathaway was a textile manufacturer up in New England, which they were really kind of in a dying industry. The textile manufacturing in New England, that whole industry was kind of dying. But he saw that there was, his teacher, Benjamin Graham, called them cigar butts. Like you see a cigar on the sidewalk, you can still pick it up, maybe get a couple more puffs out of it. And that's kind of what Berkshire Hathaway was. But so Warren Buffett was managing money. That was one of the companies in the portfolio. In 1969, he saw that the market was too expensive and he didn't see anything compelling to buy. And so he closed down his investment management business. He only retained his ownership in Berkshire Hathaway, and he became the CEO of that company. That became his full-time job. And what he did with Berkshire Hathaway was he used the cash that that company was generating to buy other companies in completely unrelated industries like insurance, See's Candy, S&H Green Stamps, Nebraska Furniture Mart, Bergman's Jewelry, or I think that's the name of the jewelry company that he bought. But, you know, a variety of different companies, public companies and private companies that were generating cash. And they would send the cash to Omaha, which had become the new headquarters for Berkshire Hathaway. And Warren would manage that cash. He'd buy more companies and he'd buy more cash flow. And he would just use that cash flow to buy more companies till he built up this conglomerate of a bunch of different companies, public and private. And he did that for 55 years, from 1969 till he retired just last year. And I mean, he averaged like close to 20% annual returns over 55 years running Berkshire Hathaway and buying these cash flow companies and reinvesting that cash into more companies and just building it and building and building. So Ryan Cohen, I believe, and he's kind of stated that that's his intention, is to take GameStop, which kind of like Berkshire Hathaway is a dying kind of industry, but it's cash flow positive, and to use that cash and start buying up companies. Okay, and Michael Burry sees that too, and he even made a recommended list of companies that he might buy, which I like the ones that are on that list. And so I think that's what Ryan Cohen is going to start doing, is to buying up these companies. And when he does that, when he goes and buys a company, to us as shareholders of GameStop, he's not going to send us a letter saying, hey, I got my eyes on this company I want to buy. So under the GameStop umbrella and you as a shareholder, you need to kick in some money so we could buy it. He's not going to send you that letter. He's going to use the cash flow from GameStop to buy that company. It's just going to accrue to us. So as he buys these companies, we're not going to have to invest more, but our investment is going to grow. Okay, and I love that strategy. It's similar to why I loved Boot Barn, because when we looked at Boot Barn, they had 300 stores around the country, and they said our goal is to get to 900 stores. And I said, well, shoot, I'll buy up 300 stores, this company with 300 stores, and over the next 5 to 10 years, my 300 stores are going to become 900, and they're not going to ask me for any money, any additional money to invest to get to 900 stores. They're going to do it out of the cash flow. So imagine if you had a 300 unit apartment complex, and over 5 to 10 years it became a 900 unit apartment complex. How? Without you putting any money into it. It becomes more valuable. Okay, so that's what Ryan Cohen is intending to do with GameStop, following the model that Warren Buffett did with Berkshire Hathaway, and really Procter & Gamble did the same thing. They start with, I don't know what it was, shampoo, and they went to conditioner and toothpaste and body wash and soap and dish soap, and they kept buying up all these companies, and now they became this big conglomerate, and every time they bought one, they didn't ask the shareholders for more money. That's what I really like. Okay, so here's another crazy thing. So what Ryan Cohen, he got the board to give him a bonus. It's a conditional bonus, and it's a huge bonus, and the condition is that he gets the company to 100 billion market cap. So if he's able to get the company to 100 billion market cap, he'll get a huge bonus. Well, guess what the market cap is right now? 10 billion. So if he will 10x the company, he'll get a huge bonus. Well, I'm all for him getting the huge bonus because I'm buying in at 10 billion. If he could get the company to 100 billion, let him get his bonus. That means he's going to 10x my money. And I hope he gets paid I hope he does it, and I hope he gets paid well for doing it. And so that in a nutshell is the summary of our thesis for why you're seeing GameStop on your statements, why we're adding that to our portfolio. Obviously a lot more legwork and pencil work and research went into it, but that's just the high level explanation of why we bought it. So keep your eye on that. I'm hoping to see good things from it. I mean, maybe not a 40x in 3 months like we had last time, but even if it's a 10x over a decade, I'd be very, very happy with that. Because he's young, he's 40. I mean, he could run this company for 10, 20, 30 years. But I think he has intentions on hitting that number within the decade. And if he did that, I'd be thrilled to death. So any questions, reach out to us. We're here doing our homework and trying to find ways to get you good growth in your portfolio without taking a ton of risk. All right, so I hope you guys have a great day.